Who are you?
Don't know Beekley.
I'm afraid filling your stomach is beyond my power.
Get on, Beekley home. Beekley, sorry.
What is it that y'all did?
Don't know. Gary died.
Say it. Say it.
Gary saw when Beekley went in the kitchen and took all those tasty looking cheesecake balls. Beekley ate all and all. Beekley, sorry.
And y'all want me to make them again?
Beekley, they were so good.
Y'all know my house? There's a kitchen there that'll have what you want. There's some things I gotta do in it beforehand though. But before we get to any of that. Hey y'all, I'm Derek and welcome back to Bad Movie Friday Night. And this is our 2nd anniversary special. Can y'all believe it? 2 years of Bad Movie Friday Night. We've had some ups and downs, a few problems with uploads, but we still got here. And none of this would be possible without y'all tuning in and passing on the links. So I want to thank each and every one of you for your continual support. And in accordance with tradition, we will be covering classic 80s horror for our 2nd anniversary. Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead is a 1988 film based on a poem by Ed Justin and was the directorial debut of special effects makeup genius Stan Winston. The film went through several drafts before filming began, much of which was due to Stan Winston wanting the creature and the overall tone of the film to be darker. The film was panned by critics when it was first released, and the film bombed in ticket sales. But it has recently been reevaluated, with actors like Lance Henriksen giving powerhouse performances and the special effects receiving praise. When the film was released on video and available for television syndication, the film soon gathered a cult following, leading to a 4-film franchise. And to go along with our movie today, I'm making Pumpkin Cheesecake Balls, so Beekley can eat them all again. First thing I'm going to do is melt 1.5 cups of white chocolate in the microwave. Now, if you use a microwave to melt chocolate, be very careful because chocolate burns very easily. Do it in short bursts, no more than 30 seconds. Take it out, mix it a little bit, and then put it back in until it's completely melted. So let's get started. So watch out! The credits are on fire! Ooh, let me get some marshmallows! Now, although this looks pretty low budget, and it is, truth be told, it actually does set up the theme of the movie. The movie itself is a campfire story, so it's a good idea to start off with a campfire. And then we jump to 1957, where a family of mountain folk are locking up their house and getting ready for bed. And then we see a guy running through the blue-lit forest, stopping by the house of the mountain folk to ask for help. But then attack! The kid of the family looks out and sees a demon killing the man. Cut to the present of 1988, and the kid has grown up to be Ed Harley, played by Lance Henriksen, and Ed's son, Billy. Oh, they're such an adorable family. I really hope nothing happens to them. Then there's a montage of the Harleys setting up shop, and a group of city folk come into town. Yeah, you know things are going to go really well when these two worlds collide. So, while that's going on, let's work on these cheesecake balls. So, all I've done is taken 2 packs of softened cream cheese and beat it until it's nice and fluffy. And to that, I'm going to add about 4 ounces of pumpkin puree, about a teaspoonful of pumpkin spice mix, a dash of salt, and about half of the melted white chocolate. And now I'm just going to beat this all together until it's nice and all mixed in. So the city folk, after making fun of the locals on the way in,
it was like foot stew. You know, I think this was the guy too. This was the
pull up to Harley's grocery, where one guy, Joel, starts acting as douchey as possible towards Billy.
Got this kid's glasses, we're talking Coke bottle.
And decides to pull out his dirt bike to jump some hills. Because it's not like they're planning on going to a cabin for the weekend. I mean, seriously, in movie time, they're less than 10 minutes away from this cabin. So, another mountain family, the Wallaces, comes to the store, and we're introduced to one of our main players, Bunt. One of the kids takes a ball from the dog, and Bunt begins taunting him.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly dead, he's mean and unforgiving.
So, Ed Harley has to leave the store to pick up feed for Mr. Wallace, and he leaves Billy to mind the store. After he leaves, the family dog runs out into the field where the city folk are playing on their bikes. Billy follows the dog and gets hit by Joel's bike, who immediately runs away. No, not Billy! Oh, he was such a cute little kid. All of the other kids look for a phone, but there isn't one. Believe it or not, kids, this was not that uncommon until the early 2000s. So all but one decides to go to the cabin to try and call an ambulance. When Ed returns, he finds his son lying dead in the field and takes him home to wash him up. As the kids get to the cabin, they find Joel has cut the phone line and locks two of them in the closet. Why?
Joel was in another accident a couple months ago and a girl was hurt. He's on probation right now.
Okay, who invited this guy? I know he's supposed to be the brother of another guy on the trip, but he is clearly not a good person. He is so selfish, he would rather let a kid die than possibly go back to jail. There is a certain place for sociopaths like that. Now back to Ed Harley, taking the feed to Mr. Wallace. While there, he wants to learn about a witch who apparently lives in the hills somewhere. Mr. Wallace just tells him to go home and bury his boy, but Bunt shows him the way.
I'm only going part way. That old woman scares the piss out of me.
So while they go see the witch, we're going to take that batter we just made and freeze it. Now we're only freezing it for about 15 minutes, just so that it gets firm enough so that we can form it into balls. So Ed takes his son to see the witch named Haggis and asks her to summon the demon that he saw when he was a kid. After arguing with her, she finally tells him how to summon it.
Ever hear a razorback holler? The thing you're looking for is in there.
And he goes there and finds a graveyard. When he finds the grave straight out of The Nightmare Before Christmas, he starts digging and takes what he finds back to Haggis, who explains what it is he's brought to her.
A special demon exists. You're looking at vengeance.
And after a little hocus pocus, the demon rises and Ed Harley collapses.
You can go now, Ed Harley. Now it begins.
And on the way home, Ed gets a visit from beyond the grave.
What'd you do, Daddy?
Okay, fun fact, this scene right here is the entire reason Lance Henriksen said okay to the script. And he goes to bury his son. Meanwhile, the kids are debating what needs to be done, and one of them, Maggie, runs out of the house and into the forest. Steve, Joel's brother, runs out to follow her, and the slaughter begins. But there's a twist. Every time Pumpkinhead kills someone, Ed gets a vision of the death. So one by one, he sees the kids die. He runs back to see Haggis.
What did you think? It'd be easy. Neat and clean and paid.
And Ed decides he needs to stop it. Okay, so while he gets a plan in order, let's form our balls. Okay, so all we're going to do is take a small spoonful and form it into a ball and put it on a cookie sheet lined with wax paper. And after we're done, we're just going to freeze them again for about 30 minutes so that they form up.
Whoa!
Oh, be right back. It looks like we're doing a bit. It'll pass, Beekley. You just need to let it run its course.
Beekley wants cheesecake balls. What it? No.
Did you think it would be quick? Did you think it would be easy? Painless? You just have to be patient.
Please hurry. Derek, Beekley, so hungry.
I already am, son. I already am. So one by one, the kids are killed, and 3 of them work their way to find a truck in the woods to get away. While there, they meet a man and ask for help, but he just says,
I can't help you. Your folks is marked.
and that's Pumpkinhead's cue. He shows up, and Ed Harley comes from off-screen through Deus Ex Machina and shoots him down. Joel goes in to double tap, only for Pumpkinhead to kill him. Ed Harley gets bit by a dog, and in a weird turn of events, Pumpkinhead acts like his hand is bit as well. And the 2 remaining kids find their way to the Wallace's place. And the 2 remaining kids find their way to the Wallace place, who don't open the door, but Bunt comes out and shows them to an abandoned church, explaining the history of Pumpkinhead.
But you must have done something bad. See, according to the legend, if one man does something bad to another man, it's gotta be something real bad, something like killing. And that other man can have Pumpkinhead conjured up to take revenge.
So Pumpkinhead shows up, and even though the church is on sacred ground, the demon just saunters in. The city folk get Bunt to show them to their cars, but when they get there, they find... Ed Harley shows up and takes the last city kid and Bunt back to his place, where he starts preparing for an assault on the demon. So the film's wrapping up, so let's wrap up our cheesecake balls. Okay, so what I've done is taken the rest of the white chocolate and added a little bit of orange food coloring just to make it look more like a pumpkin, and then mixed in about a tablespoon of refined avocado oil so that it's nice and runny. And all we're going to do is take one of the balls and a spoon and lightly cover it with the white chocolate. Then we're just going to set it back on the wax paper and chill it again for another 30 minutes. So Pumpkinhead shows up and Ed Harley moves out with his flamethrower, but he snags himself on a pitchfork where he realizes Pumpkinhead reacts to the pain he suffers. You see? That was some epic foreshadowing back there. So Ed runs to his car and shoots himself in the head, which appears to work, but there's always room for one more jump scare. Ed pleads for the girl to kill him, which she does, which in turn kills Pumpkinhead, sending him back from whence he came. But then Haggis takes something back to the graveyard, and we discover that she's burying the remains of Ed Harley. And that's the end of the movie. And our pumpkin cheesecake balls are done. We're just going to pile them up high on a plate and let people take them as they want. So, final thoughts on the movie? I love this film. It's atmospheric, moody, and just fun to watch. It's like a classic Appalachian ghost story mixed with the monkey's paw, and I watch it around this time of year every year. Now, some of the technicals can be a bit annoying, like some ADR doesn't match with the picture, and the use of day for night is a little much. But all in all, it's a great way to usher in the spooky season. Not to mention, Lance Henriksen's performance is brilliant in this film. I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it, remedy that situation. So gather up your friends, make some really good food, and enjoy this classic 80s horror. Well, thanks for stopping by, thanks for tuning in, and come back later for more Bad Movie Friday Night. Now let's go get our favorite alien. You can go now, Beekley.